It's April 14th, 1912. You're standing at the front of the largest ship ever built, watching the moonlight dance across the Atlantic. Right now, life couldn't feel more perfect. As you stroll across the promenade, it's easy to understand why everyone calls this ship unsinkable. Every corner feels luxurious, and every passenger seems completely at ease. You stop for a warm drink before bed. The rich wood, glowing fireplace, and quiet conversations make it feel like a floating palace. Nothing seems out of place. You check the time and realize it's getting late. Tomorrow will be another peaceful day at sea. Or at least, that's what everyone believes. Back on deck, something catches your attention. The ocean is strangely calm, almost too calm. It looks like a giant sheet of black glass stretching to the horizon. The air suddenly feels much colder than before. Your breath hangs in front of your face, and an uneasy feeling starts creeping into your mind, even though you can't explain why. You notice crew members carefully scanning the darkness ahead. They don't seem panicked, but they definitely look focused. Whatever they're searching for, you can't see it. You decide it's finally time to head back to your cabin. The hallways are quiet, the lights glow softly, and the ship continues its smooth journey through the night. You settle into bed with a book, listening to the gentle hum of the engines beneath your feet. It's hard to imagine anything could interrupt such a peaceful night. Without warning, you feel a faint shudder run through the ship. It isn't violent, just enough to make you stop and look up. You have no idea that in this very moment, history has changed forever. You step into the hallway expecting someone to explain what just happened. Instead, everyone looks just as confused as you. The ship feels quiet, almost too quiet. Passengers gather around a crew member asking questions. He calmly says it's only a precaution, but you notice he never actually answers what the ship hit. The crew keeps smiling, trying to keep everyone relaxed. For a moment, you almost believe everything is under control. But something still doesn't feel right. When you reach the deck, your stomach drops. Crew members are uncovering lifeboats in the freezing night air. If there's no danger, why prepare the lifeboats? Some passengers laugh and head back inside, convinced it's all unnecessary. Others quietly put on life jackets. You realize everyone is making a choice with very little information. You decide not to take any chances. As you tighten your life jacket, the cold wind suddenly feels much harsher than it did just a few minutes ago. Looking toward the front of the ship, you finally notice it. The bow seems lower than before. It's only a small difference, but it's enough to send a chill through your body. Families begin gathering together while crew members organize everyone as calmly as possible. Fear spreads quietly, not through shouting, but through the expressions on people's faces. The first lifeboats begin lowering into the darkness. Strangely, many of them aren't even full. Almost nobody believes the Titanic could actually sink. Then everything changes. The crew's calm voices become urgent commands as they shout for everyone to move toward the lifeboats immediately. You grip your life jacket tighter, realizing this isn't a drill. And you may have only minutes to decide what happens next. The line barely moves. Crew members focus on loading women and children first, while everyone else waits, hoping there will still be enough room. Every passing minute makes the ship feel a little more unstable. A frightened child becomes separated from her mother for a moment, and you help guide her back through the crowd. Even in the middle of chaos, small acts of kindness still matter. You look toward the front of the ship and finally see the truth. Seawater is already spilling across the lower decks. This isn't a possibility anymore. The Titanic is sinking. The deck begins to tilt beneath your feet, making every step more difficult. People who were calm just minutes ago are now moving with real urgency. As you pass the ship's musicians, they're still playing. The familiar melodies bring a strange sense of peace, even as the situation grows more desperate around them. You reach another lifeboat, but it's already full. The officer tells you to move back and make room for others. You watch it disappear into the darkness without you. The angle of the ship becomes impossible to ignore. Climbing uphill now takes real effort, and loose luggage begins sliding across the deck as gravity takes over. From the stern, you can see almost the entire ship. The bow is disappearing beneath the Atlantic, while the lifeboats drift farther away, looking impossibly small. The deck suddenly becomes so steep that simply standing is a challenge. Around you, people cling to railings, hoping they can hold on just a little longer. The stern rises higher and higher until you're staring almost straight up at the towering smokestacks. You realize the ship can't stay like this for much longer. And then, deep below your feet, you hear a deafening groan of twisting steel. The ship rises higher than you ever thought possible. Every second feels longer than the last as you hold on with everything you have. You know the end is only moments away. The Titanic finally disappears beneath the Atlantic, and you're thrown into the freezing water. The shock takes your breath away instantly. Now, survival depends on staying calm. You spot a floating wooden door drifting nearby, and use the last of your strength to reach it. Every movement feels harder than the one before. You pull yourself onto the floating wood, keeping as much of your body out of the freezing water as possible. It's not comfortable, but it gives you a chance to keep fighting. Minutes feel like hours as you wait in the silent darkness. The stars above remain beautiful, even though everything around you has changed forever. Just when hope begins to fade, you notice a lifeboat returning. You raise your arm, hoping someone sees you before your strength runs out. The rescuers reach you and pull you aboard. Safe at last, you realize how close you came to becoming part of one of history's greatest tragedies. Wrapped in a blanket, you look back across the empty ocean. Only hours ago, the world's largest passenger ship stood there. Now, there's nothing but water. As the sun rises, the Atlantic looks peaceful again. It's hard to believe that so much changed in a single night, reminding you how quickly life can change. The story of the Titanic isn't remembered because it was called unsinkable. It's remembered because of the courage, sacrifice, and humanity people showed when everything was on the line. If you had been there that night, what choices do you think you would have made?